Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here with some MTG catch-up news, I guess, because I don't think I even had time to make a video yesterday. It's been a nightmare, and yes, the t-shirt giveaway is coming. I'll try and get it done tomorrow. I've been dealing with two separate, just complete and utter disasters, unfortunately, and the weather's only making it worse, so I've got pretty much until tomorrow to solve it, so First thing I gotta throw in is that recent community post. People thought I photoshopped it and it was like a joke, like, haha, that would never happen. That is a direct screenshot from real footage. So, as requested, the footage playing in the background of this video right now is the game it came from. It was recorded before the release of Crimson Vow. Look at that and tell me standard's in a healthy place from a power standpoint, and it's easy to track outside of digital. Anyway, I'm getting reports from everyone, everywhere, that holy crap, do people not know how day-night works at the pre-release events. Now, arena people, they get it because they've seen it. Everybody else has trouble picturing it or like figuring out that, oh, well, it keeps going if nothing relevant is in play to trigger it. I mean, I played with the whole Conspiracy 2 Monarch tracking thing, which was a little more obvious, a little bit more intuitive. I played with City's Blessing from Ixalan, which that kept going after the triggering permanent stopped counting. Oh, depending upon when it left play. But nobody seemed terrifically confused by that either, actually. But I've said this in probably the last 3 sets of individual spoiler videos, so the last 3 standard sets. Oh, well, that's going to be easy on digital and a nightmare to track with paper. If the game gets less approachable and more frustrating and annoying with a bunch of intangible crap where you have to, do recurring math on the fly because what it says on the card isn't what's really going on, like some floating invisible delayed trigger or some ongoing count thing that's not on any card. I mean, anything like that is just bad. I get it, the game would be boring as hell without anything like that, but they've taken it completely just way too far lately. And plus just the power level. I mean, look, I'm swinging with like 10-10-10s on Arena on like turn 7. It's like, oh, this has a temporary boost because of this trigger, but it has a permanent boost because of this angel. But then because I gain life, I put a counter on it, so it has a boost from that. But then also on top of it, I cast this instant that gives it everybody +2/+2. If you can't see the number in front of your head, you have to keep like imagining it. And let's say there's like 7 permanent swinging. Well, now you got a problem, don't you? I mean, even like, oh, that man land is a 4/3. Oh, that's fine. I'll let it through. Or I'll block it with my 3/3. Cool. Well, no, actually, I dropped in that intrepid whatever the hell. And because I paid to have it have 2 Valor counters that look like normal dice but aren't, it gives a field bonus to everything. So actually, it isn't the size it says on the cards. Surprise! I hate stuff like that. I've hated that ever since I started playing Magic. So now the latest thing in everybody's crosshairs is day-night tracking. It's counterintuitive, it's stupid, and it's in a set where you already have to constantly, and I mean like literally once per turn potentially, take a card out of its sleeve, flip it over, and put it back in its sleeve. Absolutely beyond idiotic that they thought this would be even vaguely functional or fun or anything other than a giant headache for the players and papers. So yeah, they need to cut this digital optimized shit, okay? So let's move on. What else are people justifiably mad about? Well, it turns out that the double feature draft booster black and white stupid thing, just another excuse to sell you the same things they just sold you, in my opinion. So there's this thing called Innistrad double feature. It's, Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow put together, and then you could draft them together as like this big superset mega draft. Not the newest idea, by the way, not very innovative, and not even a good product in my opinion, because back when things were released in blocks, 2-part blocks, you would usually go like, 2 Shadows packs and 1 Eldritch, or whatever, 2 in 1. And way back when they did the blocks in 3 parts, like the Tarkir block, you'd have like 1 booster pack of Cons of Tarkir, and then 1 Fate Reforged, and 1 DTK. And that would be your draft. You draft one, then the other, then the other. So this is just that because they're still trying to, I guess, come to terms with the fact that this always was one set. They made it too big and wanted to do too much and then had to split it apart. Despite what they've tried to retcon later, that is what they initially said. Speaking of that, people on their internets are saying, hey, wait a minute, what the hell do you mean double feature contains every single card from Midnight Hunt and every single card from Crimson Vow? That's not the way I remember it. Now, some people are claiming that they have statements from Wizards saying, no, we always said that. That's always what it was. Of course, no screenshots to back it up, but what somebody did produce, because gotta have those receipts, was a screenshot from the initial announcement of Double Feature that says Innistrad Double Feature combines select cards. from two separate sets, Midnight Hunt and Vow. I can personally assure you that I saw that, and that is word for word what it said. That is a real screenshot. So that's just another thing where people are like, yeah, Wizards misled us, lied to us, whatever. I guess they're just used to it at that point because people were mostly just memeing on it and not too many people seemed actually mad. It was just like, well, here's just another thing. But guess what they did get mad about? Further on the statement, it says, blah, 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 unique draft experience featuring special art treatment on every card. And they have referred to it as black and white on, I guess, multiple occasions. And a bunch of just angry, petty, I'm better than you, precision of language douchebags. So in other words, Reddit is mad that it's not black and white, it's grayscale. How dare you, Wizards, call grayscale black and white? How dare you? 986 upvotes. This is what Redditors do with their time, okay? This is what that portion of the Magic community, you know damn well what I'm describing when I say that phrase. That's what they do with their time, is they go upvote whining about how grayscale and black and white are not the same thing. Not because this set and the last couple sets have been massive power creep, they ruined standard well into 2023, and they took the color pie and threw it out a window. No, grayscale. Oh, go back to your failing film degree at your liberal arts college, you douchebags. So, two related news stories here. This one's pretty big, actually. Remember Puka Trade? It was a Magic the Gathering card trading business where the owners had no idea how to do math or run a business. And then to make matters worse, to double down on their malfunctional mathematics, their entire brilliant, super ultra mega brained marketing strategy was to tell everyone everywhere to come trade 1 billion of their crap cards for one good card. Guess what happened? Guess what customers showed up? People who all wanted to do that. Guess what doesn't work in a card trading system? People all wanting to trade in bulk garbage for rares. This is almost identical to the number one mistake that people make with small businesses in marketing, where they'll put out a big marketing blast when they open for their, auto repair shop, where they're like, we're the cheapest, we're the lowest price, we're the most affordable, we're only $40 an hour, not 90. Well, guess who's going to show up? A bunch of whiny, entitled, broke-ass poor people. Trust me, I made this mistake. I was cheaper than all my competition. I didn't fix cars, by the way. But yeah, people walked in and they're like, oh, I don't know, I gotta wait for a paycheck. Oh, I can't pick this up yet. Oh, can you hold this? I was like, I should open a damn grocery store, because then at least people walk in, they buy something, they hand you money, they walk out. Instead of all this hassle and whining and can I get some leeway? Okay, cool. Some poor people are cool, and I almost universally despise rich people. Let me just throw that out there. They're the most unhappy, dysfunctional, family, entitled, alcoholic douchebags almost across the board, universally. I hate rich people, but I also strongly dislike a lot of poor people because you're already the best price in town and they're like, that's too high. Anyway, mini tangent over. What you shouldn't do if you're Puka Trade is tell every single person, come take your 25-cent worthless crap and trade it in for mythics. Woo! They knew that would be the most exciting, attractive part, but unfortunately, that's who showed up. And that tipped over their stupid malfunctional math where they had all these giveaways. They basically just did what the Biden administration is doing, and they just printed money. They're just like, oh, here, have points, have points, have points. Oh, all you sponsors, have points, have points, have points. Oh, wait, you guys are actually taking those points and trading them in for real world goods, so we're effectively printing a currency and inflation. What do you mean people taking something out of a mathematical closed system without putting anything back in is problematic? What? So yeah, these Puka Trade people were beyond morons, so they are shutting down on December 15th, 2021. So remember, I said there's two stories that are very tightly related. The second story is, holy shit, Puka Trade was still open. That's news. Well, not for long, but damn, when I heard this, I'm like, what? There is no way in 2021 they're still around. If you didn't hear about all the drama, they were open for 11 years, allegedly. They had 9 million trades. So yeah, cool. But there's nothing you can do to solve a problem this bad. From a fundamental business math problem, plus inflation from printing currency, plus bad marketing, bad compensation, and just they were complete and utter clueless morons. And I am not in any way apologetic or sympathetic for that. If you're too stupid to run a business, then it's going to fail, you're going to lose money, and you deserve it, okay? Get out of the way and let us proper business owners make our money, because you're just jamming up the system. Although I don't know if that's terribly relevant in this case, because somebody just sent me a screenshot of another card for sale on TCG Player for $203,000. for the pre-release version of the card, the date stamped one, when the regular one is about $4. Seems legit. I'm so glad everybody uses TCG Player as their absolute god tier perfect flawless pricing guide. Like 6 years ago, they pretended to fix their pretend fantasy prices that don't prove the card is ever sold for that because people were manipulating it, and they never really fixed it. They took a tiny step and then pretended it was fixed. That whole site's bullshit too. Look on eBay, okay? Buy and sell on eBay, my god. So anyway, good riddance to Puka Trade. Thank God they're finally leaving. Also, 'tis the season, apparently. If your Christmas holiday parties involve a bunch of families that don't get along, all getting drunk and accusing each other of doing things they may or may not have done, and then you thought, I need more of that in my life, the official MTG subreddit Secret Santa 2021 sign-up is available. If you're completely insane, if you trust random strangers on the internet, then you're an idiot. I literally didn't even read how it works, but these dumb liberals, these are the same people who think that homeless people are just down on their luck Disney hobos jumping the rails and they're so lovable. No, they're drug addicts with mental issues. Holy shit. Everyone on the internet in this community would never scam anyone. Yeah, okay, it's the magic community. Everyone scams everyone, and that's 10 times more prevalent on that shitbox of an official subreddit. Pick one of the alternatives and join it, and then while you're busy doing that, get off of Reddit. My god, Reddit is bullshit. People are still mad about that autism shit, I guess. We're still not hearing the end of that. Apparently I confused Autism Speaks with anybody else that's not complete shit, so sorry about that. But they were the ones who were behavior modification, whatever the hell they're all complaining about. That's abusive and mean and whatever. Okay, well, it's the only thing that works, and what's the alternative? Okay, I'm just saying. Yeah, it's not nice, but life's not nice. It's not like if somebody shows up to a hospital and they're like, oh, you have cancer. Let's try bloodletting and have a seance. What would you have them do for severe cases of autism? Now, this is coming from someone who, by the way, I am well on the autistic spectrum, depending upon the tests that I take. It's quite severe, but I work through it. That's why some people are like, oh, really? You don't really come off that way. Well, first of all, if you met me in real life, but secondly, I focused on it. I worked on it nonstop. It's at the end of the day, you just review, okay, how did I act? Did I react well in this? Could I have, faked being a normal person better in this scenario? And eventually you get damn good at it. Not to mention, I hated loud noises and just, everything across, the board. I hated social situations. So what did I do? Exposure therapy. It's not nice. It's not friendly. It's not pleasant. And it's almost like people say, oh, you're torturing yourself. Yeah, but look where I'm at now. I'm almost like a normal functional human being. Holy shit. So I'm not saying, because I don't know enough about it, that I'm all for this treatment that everybody's, whining about. Oh, by the way, I should probably back up. This is about the Extra Life thing that only benefited Seattle, which that was my issue with it. But it benefited specifically an autism treatment place. And people didn't like the techniques that they used. But they're using a 30 years ago definition from what I heard. I kind of read both sides of this and okay, I can see both sides of this. But at the end of the day, if it works, it's great. It's just oh, I never want to train my dog not to bark or not to leave the yard and get run over by a car with a shock collar because that's mean. Well, it gets results. And by the way, some people were saying that they actively at this place put a shock collar on autistic kids and shocked them. I don't think so. I don't think that that's any more an actual part of whatever this treatment was called. And you're a crazy, exaggerating dumbass if you think it is. Most of the people complaining about it were not autistic and didn't have autistic kids and didn't know anybody autistic. They're just this sounds mean. It's controversial from people who know nothing about what they're talking about, okay? From my perspective, I lean more towards, it's yeah, your 2 or 3 year old is going to have a meltdown if you punish them because they tried to eat all the soap under the sink. Great. Oh, it's so traumatized. You're being mean to them. Okay, how else are they going to learn not to reach for and grab for things on the stove and tip over boiling water onto themselves? They don't know any better and it's for their own good, okay? It's just they have limited intelligence and limited life experience. And it's actually very similar with autistic people. So if this behavioral treatment thing works because it's you just give them alternative inputs that make sense to their brain that tell them not to do something or to do something through rewards and penalties, that's what gets through to them. Newsflash, their brains don't work correctly. They don't perceive the world like you and me. So if it's for their own good in the end, I'd say do almost any treatment within reason. And that's why this accredited, allowed by law medical facility knows more about it than you do, random dumbass on Twitter complaining about how everyone's a victim all the time and you're so much smarter than everyone. So Twitterina is whining about this. You're mostly wrong, okay? Now, can we get back to complaining that it was a worldwide fundraiser for just Seattle when Seattle is one of the worst cities on the fucking planet? They don't deserve 1 penny of your money. So the final news story is, it's kind of like a community participation one. Has anybody heard anything about the winners being announced in the Mr. Beast 50K giveaway? There's supposed to be 2 of them. Wizards and the money / reward prize people behind the whole thing drastically missed the deadline and ignored, the officially legally required in the US requests for a disclosure of who the winners were. Once it started blowing up online, Wizards said, oh yeah, we're announcing it next week. And then, as far as I know, nobody heard anything. So if anybody has a different account than that, I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, I'm going to make another video ripping them apart. I'd like to be right, though, before I do that. I know I'm a more responsible journalist than anybody at CNN, because they don't have any journalists. They're all propagandists and Democrat Party activists. Oh, mini news story. I uploaded an amazing 1 hour and 10 minute super video podcast thing on my EST channel, Emergency Survival Tips. Just type it into YouTube. It's the first result. It's like 20 or 30 different ways to save money when buying anything, really. I mean, I did kind of cover like prepping gear and emergency survival stuff, but it applies to anything. Absolutely anything. So even if you're not into, self-safety, survival, self-defense, any of that stuff, which, what the heck's wrong with you? This video will just save you money across the board. It's just like how to shop for stuff with every trick I've ever used in my personal life and especially my business. And I learned this from the magic world. I learned this from, like I said, running a business, finding out what distributorships are, finding out what other people are doing to game the system. And what about this bonus mixed with this? What if I time this with this? What if I combine this with this? And it's like how to fight back against the manipulation of idle cart, abandoned cart, and idle customer promotion algorithms and AI learning crap by, flipping on them and playing them to just get free stuff. I mean, if you just click on the video and then scroll down to the chapters and read the titles, if you know every one of those tricks, then congratulations, you're probably literally me, which would be weird because you're not. Otherwise, everybody's got something to learn there. So go check that out. Joe Biden, and I'll see you guys next video.